Hey guys, it's me, Mario. I dropped this. And today, we are going to do the last chapter of EPOS, the Flame Bird. How are you guys doing today? The final chapter is upon us. Final chapter is upon us. Yes. So probably start it instead of just talking to you guys. Yes, I'll probably do that. Alright. Chapter 10. The Final Answers. Tom was knocked to his knees as the ground rocked beneath him. He covered his ears. A huge crashes echoed all around. Then the tremors died away. Smoke mixed with dust rose up into the black sky. For a long, stunned moment, Tom wondered why it was suddenly so much darker. Then he realized that the fierce glow of the molten lava had been buried beneath thousands of tons of rocks. The volcano's fierce fires had been put out. The kingdom was safe at last. But EPOS was dead. The noble beast had sacrificed herself for Eventia. No! Thomas shouted, scrambling over the fallen rock, trying to find some way to reach the flame bird. But there was no way through. Tom barely noticed when some of the swirling smoke began to shine and sparkle, and a familiar red-cloaked shape appeared beside him. At last he turned. "Hello, Wizard Elderu," Tom whispered. The old man smiled down at him. "You have done it, Tom. You have defeated Melville, and saved the kingdom." Tom cast a glance at the village far below, still standing. The forest fires had burned themselves out, and each tree was now a black skeleton. "I still don't understand how I broke the band to set EPOS free," he admitted, removing the chainmail gauntlet. "Surely my father's old armor can't be that strong." Elderu smiled. "You made it strong, Tom. It was your faith in your father and your friends, and your faith in yourself, that allowed you to break the evil charm. Melville did not understand goodness or loyalty, so his charms had no defense against one who prized those things so highly." Tom's gaze fell to the ground. But I couldn't save Epos. She died. Are you sure? The old wizard said gently. A deep rumbling sound rolled around them. Before Tom could react, an enormous ball of light rose up from the sealed volcano. Something stirred inside it. The golden shadow of a bird. Then the ball of light burst apart, and with a mighty squawk, a gigantic, majestic creature appeared. Epos! Tom cried. She's a phoenix, Wizard Elder. She's a phoenix, Wizard Elder reminded him. She must allow herself to die in flames, so that she can rise anew from the ashes. The beast circled above them, flapping her golden wings, leaving trails of golden fire in the air. Now she has thrown off her old form. All trace of Melville's evil has died with it. Elder murmured. Thanks to you, Tom, she will be free forever. Wait, whispered Tom. There's something in her mouth. Epos opened her beak. A smoking sword and a blackened wooden shield fell, landing with a clatter at Tom's feet. My sword and shield, Tom shouted. Epos brought them back from the volcano. With a last deafening screech, Epos soared up into the heavens. In her wake, she felt streaks of magical fire that burned away the dark clouds of volcanic smoke and ash hanging over the village. Tom laughed as he found himself staring up into the clear blue sky of an early morning. Elder put a hand on Tom's shoulder. It is a new dawn for the kingdom, thanks to you, Tom. Just then, something fell from the sky right into Tom's hand. It was a sharp, glowing talon. Instinctively, Tom nailed to place it in his shield. At once, a golden light shone out from the shield and bathed his skin. What's happening? Tom stammered. A reborn phoenix can heal all wounds, Elder explained. Tom's body filled with warmth. His burns and cuts disappeared. His pain drained away, but then he felt a swirling sensation. The volcano seemed to spin around him. Elder, Tom called uncertainly. Where are you? Do not be afraid, the wizard murmured. Someone special wishes to see you, and he does not like to be kept waiting. Oh, my neck. Tom felt a jolt go through his body. His senses spun. He felt as if he were flying. Then the air was suddenly flash and sweet in his lungs. All was quiet. Gingerly, he opened his eyes to find himself in a large, luxurious room decorated in crimson and gold. He was kneeling on a polished floor of white marble. A man sat in front of him on a magnificent throne. With a gasp, Tom realized where he was. He was in the royal palace, with his sword and shield, on his knees before the king. "Greetings, Tom," said King Hugo. "Wizard Elder has brought you directly to me so I can thank you without delay." Tom gulped and bowed his head. "It was my pleasure, Your Majesty. Oliventia owes you a great debt." The king went on. "Ask for anything you desire, and you shall have it." Tom rose to his feet and bowed. "Please, Your Majesty, all I want is the answer to one question." He swallowed hard. "What happened to my father?" "It is time you knew," the king said. "Teledon the Swift was a born knight. Many years ago he encountered EPOS in the caves near the volcano. EPOS was under no spell, but she thought your father was an intruder. Your father fought the beast and lost. And from that day on, he made it his mission to know all he could about the beasts. He went to stay with his brother in Iranol, read old books, gathered secret knowledge, and found a wife, of course." Tom nodded. "My mother?" Soon after, Teledon began to dream about the beasts, strange and awful nightmares which told him that something bad was going to happen. These nightmares did not go away. King Hugo leaned forwards. He believed they were a prophecy that would one day come true. So did your mother. And because they both loved you, they wanted to protect the land in which you would grow up." Tom listened, astounded, as the king went on. "Your mother insisted that Teledon undertake his quest. That he should journey all over the kingdom, learning the beast's strength and weaknesses. That way, if they ever did attack, the kingdom would be prepared, and his people could live without fear. But your Majesty, Tom began nervously. Malvo said my father helped him. Wizard Elder stepped up beside him. Melville stole Teledon's journals, filled with hard-won secret knowledge about the beasts. He explained. He used that information to gain control over 6 of them. That is the only way in which your father helped Melville. Tom felt a surge of pride in his father's achievements. Then I have followed in his footsteps. He looked hopefully at Eldorou. Do you know where he is? Do you know where he is now? I do not, Eldorou admitted. He has traveled to far lands now, to places even I cannot see. One day I'll find him, Tom vowed. We will meet, I know it. It's my destiny. Suddenly there was a clattering noise outside the throne room, and voices raised in surprise. The king smiled. Ah, Eldorou has conjured some others who wish to greet you. The doors to the throne room were thrown open by Elena. Tom, she yelled. Before Tom could say a word, Elena threw herself into his arms. Almost knocking him to the floor as she hugged him. Tom, you did it! We did it, he told her. I could never have done this without you. Storm and Silver, where are they? It seems they are inside my throne room, King Hugo explained. Hugo. King Hugo explained. Tom laughed as Storm clapped over and pushed past Eldorou. Neighing loudly, Silver dashed in and out of the stallion's legs in excitement, then licked Tom all over his face. I'm not sure I've ever entertained a horse and a wolf in my palace before, King Hugo laughed. But then we've never had a hero like Tom before either. He beamed at Elena and the animals. Tonight there shall be a feast with you, Tom, and Elena, as the guests of honor. Tom bowed. We are grateful, Your Majesty, he said. I am the grateful one, said King Hugo. I shall speak to the people now. As the king crossed the royal balcony, Tom looked at Eldorou. Is it really all over? Is Melville gone forever? How can you? Who can tell? said Eldorou. Melvin was a mighty sorcerer with the power of travel to travel great distances in the blink of an eye. This quest might be over, Tom, but others may lie ahead. A shiver of excitement ran through Tom. I'll be ready. And we'll face them together, said Elena. Storm whined and Silver barked. As a gigantic cheer shook the palace, King Hugo had walked out onto the balcony to greet the people, and now he was beckoning to Tom and Elena. Tom gulped. We'd better go and face that crowd. Tom and Elena took their place at King Hugo's side. The streets outside were jammed full of bustling people, all of them clapping and cheering. Tom spotted Owen and May Raymond smiling in the crowd and waved to them. You're the kingdom's hero, Tom, said Elena excitedly. Your story will be told throughout the land. No one will believe it, of course. Tom hardly heard her for a second. He thought he glimpsed a dark, hooded figure. He blinked, and when he looked again, there was nothing. Were his eyes playing tricks on him? If Melville returns, Tom thought gravely, I shall be waiting. But right now it was enough to know he had completed his beast quest, and that Elena, Storm, and Silver were close beside him. Tom smiled and held his sword aloft as the crowd cheered. Excuse me. He thought about the 6 beasts, who were now free again to guard the kingdom, just as they always had, since the time began. And that was the last chapter of the first series of Beast Quest. Oh my goodness, this has been going for 23 minutes. The final answers. Well, I'm gonna take a little break of the Beast Quest series, but the Great Dragon Book is gonna be here for a little. I'm still gonna upload the Great Dragon Book, and then I'm gonna start this series, the second series, whenever I get the chance. We have come so far. Well, I have come so far reading this to you guys. First series of Beast Quest done. Finished. It's finito. Man, I feel so accomplished now. Glad I got to read this to you guys, and this is still an awesome book series that I am reading. I haven't been reading the 4th series in my spare time anymore. I barely read at all, so that's probably a bad thing. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed my read through the first series of Beast Quest. And I hope I will see you in series 2. Whenever I decide to turn that out. Alright. See you in the next one. Hope you guys like the Beast Quest series. And I know some of you subscribed to the channel because of this series. So, thank you for subscribing. Hope you guys hit the bell. If you didn't, you can. And if you're new here, you can subscribe. It's like down there in this general area. Well, I hope you guys enjoy my videos so far. And I hope I will see you in the Great Dragon book. And eventually the beginning of the second series. Well, bye-bye for now.